Hello and welcome to 7 Super Series. I'm Ben from the Bonehead podcast and this is the Game 2 preview. That's right, 7 Super Series is back and I'm super excited to have it back. I love 7s. As you guys know, it's the best way to play Blood Bowl. And I love that we're going to be playing these games live on Monday Night Blood Bowl. So, 7 Super Series is back, but it's back with a few differences. The first being, we're going to be playing these live on a Monday night. The first game will be live for everybody on YouTube, so every week there's 2 games. The first one goes out live to YouTube. The second one is going to be live, but just for our Patreon members and our YouTube members. So if you want to join the second live game or just watch it on the Tuesday, you can join either one of those and you get the game straight away. Otherwise, it will go public on the Wednesday. What that does mean is there's going to be 2 games every week, which means there's going to be 2 previews. So loads of Blood Bowl happening. There is a viewer championship again. So if you remember before, we wanted you to guess the scores. This is the place in which you do it. So with that in mind, let's have a look at the teams that are going to be taking part in our second game this week. And first up, it's Chaos Dwarfs, the Flame Lords. So this is Blood Tithes, beautifully painted Punga team. So this is the Chaos Dwarf team that he's had for a little while, that he's converted up to be nicely suited for the current rules. Now, with that in mind, this is Blood Bowl 7s, but it does have those new star players in there. Say new star players, the new positionals. We've got the Sneaky Stabber over there on the left-hand side, and we've got the Flamesmith over here on the right-hand side. So no tackle, because tackle's gone. No block, because we've wanted to see how the Flamesmith and the Sneaky Stabber play out, because they've been quite fun as we've been playing them so far. Then we have got Osso, the Minotaur, and Buko, the Bull Centaur. So as the season goes on, the players will acquire skills, they'll acquire SPP, and they will also acquire names. Now, we had to start off with these because, as you know, during our design commentary and work with the Patreons and YouTube members, this naming convention came out and it had to be in there. So this roster's got a Bull Centaur, a Minotaur, a Sneaky Stabber, Flamesmith, 4 Hobgoblins, no rerolls, and comes in at 590k. So you've got a little bit of everything, a little bit of all the spice here for the Flame Lords. And they're going to be taking on the Jolgaard Marauders. So the Jolgaard Marauders have been demoted from 11s into 7s, but they've retained a couple of their star players. Basically, we've been able to keep Ulfandar, the Elf Warrior, who's going to start this series with the block that he had in the 11 series. We've got Cuddles with his absolutely spanking 0 SPP. We are giving Cuddles an opportunity to succeed, an opportunity to kind of show that he's not the worst big guy of all time. Now, we've also got the Golden Kukling of Valkyrie, who is going to start with dodge as they had it in the last series. Now, this team also comes with 4 linemen, so we've got 7 Norse players here. 2 of them start with a skill because they had it in the 11s roster, which brings this team to 580k team value. Alright, so these are 2 teams that you guys have seen on the channel before. We've been playing loads of Chaos Dwarf games because we wanted to try out the new roster. And these guys, the Jolgaard Marauders, well, we wanted to give them another chance to succeed. Now, this brings me into a couple of things I think we're doing really cool about this 7s edition. We're not doing the same way we have before with dedicated skill packages. We want these teams to continue onwards. So we'll be using full casualty rules, we'll be using full SPP rules as well. So these players are going to live, they're going to die, and they're going to develop, which is how we've been able to bring the Jolgaard Marauders down into 7s. We've kept some players, but they've cost their team value because, spoiler alert, some of these teams are going to carry on into the next Bonehead Championship. We're going to take the players that earn their chalk, stars, stirrups, spurs, earn their stripes in 7s. Some of them are going to carry over into the Bonehead Championship in 11s. So with that in mind, we're going to give them proper rules, which means inducements from 7s, but your SPPs And your casualties are all standard Blood Bowl League. We're not using the sevens rules for like, oh, I've got a skill, therefore I leave the team. No, you're playing in the Bonehead Championship 7 Super Series. You stay here until the end of the series. Now, this series has got 6 teams in it. There's going to be 4 rounds, so each of those teams is going to play 4 games. And then at the very end, the top 2 teams will go through and play the finals, which we have got scheduled on the 23rd of December. So this little mini series of 13 games is going to wrap up by Christmas. So let's talk about the teams. We've got the Dwarfs with a couple of the new positionals on there. If you watched us last week, you would have seen the Sneaky Stabber had a heck of a game. Now, some of these players have got names, some of them haven't. The idea here is that as these players level up and they do cool stuff, we're going to get the YouTube members and the patrons, the supporters, to choose names for those players. So as they kind of come up, it's sevens, right? Starting in sevens, you're kind of stunty. You're at the bottom of the barrel. People don't know your name until you earn it. Very much like running a stunty team, right? So that's quite cool. So we've got the Flame Lords with a couple of new positionals because we want to show off. We've got the Minotaur because the Minotaur did so well last week. Genuinely, that was going to be a 2 Centaur build. But the Minotaur was so much fun, it convinced me to run a Minotaur. Well, one of 2 Minotaurs in this season. So we've got the Flame Lords running a brand new roster with brand new rules. And we've got the Jolgaard Marauders running a brand new small roster of a very old and bad team, which I think is really cool. Norse are wicked. They are really good. In sevens, they've got some advantages in that their Ulf Warrior and the Yeti are going to have better angles to hit stuff with. But also the fact that their linemen have got Drunkard, which means they're only rushing on a 3+. In sevens, that can be pretty brutal. Now, we are going to be getting Trips to run Norse because Trips loves Norse and him and Cuddles have just got a very special bond. And then over on the red side, we've got the Flame Lords. It's Ben. Ben loves Dwarfs. This is a perfect matchup for both these players. Except it's sevens. So that line of death that both of these teams enjoy is not here for sevens. This is going to be a little bit of controlling the neutral zone, but not in a Federation Klingon way. Kapla. Now the other thing I said was coming back is the Viewer Championship. Click. There we go. Right, Viewer Championship. We want you to guess the outcome of this game in the comments here before the game goes live, before it actually happens. And if you get the outcome right, you will score 3 points. So if you say Norse are going to win and the Norse team wins, you get 3 points. And you get a bonus point here, no matter whether you get it right or not, for each score that you guess correctly. You will get +1 point. So if you say, for example, in this game, Norse are going to win 1-0 and Norse win 2-0, you'll get 3 points for guessing that Norse are going to win. You'll get no points for the Norse score, but you'll get 1 point because you think that the Chaos Dwarfs are going to get 0 touchdowns. So there's a variation. Even if you say, Norse are going to win 1-0 and it ends up being a 1-all draw, you didn't get it because it's a draw, and you still get that Norse are going to get 1 touchdown. So you still get 1 point. So you can spike it and score 5, or you can kind of occasionally sneak an extra point in a bad situation here. Now, we're going to keep tallies of these scores as the season goes on, and then at the end of the season, we will have basically some Bonehead Championship loot, 7 Super Series loot, that will go out to the top scoring people in the season. And if you've got points left over from the last series, we will add that to your score in one way or another towards the end. So you may not win, but if you didn't quite get enough points to get some loot, we'll give you a little nudge so you do for being just a cracking bunch of people joining in with the Viewer Championship. All right, Viewer Championship done. Flame Lords roster done. Jolgaard Marauders roster done. We've got Brush Tithe running Dwarfs. He's medium on the Minotaur here. We've got Trips running Norse, and he is decidedly medium on Cuddles. Now, talking about the matchup very quickly, I mean, these are 2 teams that really thrive in 11s, where you've got the line of scrimmage, or the line of slaughter, as we call it here. We've got a lot of block on this side, which generally speaking gives you consistent blocks, right? It's really safe on offense and defense. Now, these guys do not have the integral part of the Chaos Dwarf roster, which is the Chaos Dwarfs. Only 4 positionals in sevens. We wanted to show off the Sneaky Stabber. We wanted to show off the Flamesmith. We just had to go for the Minotaur and a Bull Centaur. So that's your 4 positionals. We've got 4 Hobgoblins backing them up, sure. But what this means is that you don't have any of those Chaos Dwarf blockers. Now, the Flamesmith at movement 5 means this team's a little bit faster than it used to be, but you don't have block. Whereas on the Norse team, you've got a block Ulfwerener, and you've got 3 block linemen, so plenty of block on this side. It's interesting, this team's actually slower than this team. You've got the Bull Centaur here that can hoon around. You've got some movement 6 Hobgoblins that can actually take the rushes. I think Brushtype has a little bit of an advantage when it comes to this roster. A Minotaur and a Centaur basically gives you 2 big guys. I know they've got the Ulfwerener, and I know that they've got the Yeti, but I think, I don't know, in that case, actually this is very well matched up. Centaur versus Ulf, the Ulf has block. Minotaur versus Yeti, Minotaur is better, plus the Yeti is Cuddles. Then you've got a Sneaky Stabber who is going to have some pretty decent targets. Yes, sure, the Golden Kukling has Dodge, the Valkyrie for the Norse team, but it's still going to got Armor 8+, as to the lineman. So actually the Sneaky Stabber, if he lands a solid hit, has got a good chance of taking somebody out. The Flamesmith's going to be real interesting. Against the Ulf, could do some work. That's a 4+ knockdown. No, placed prone. 6 is a knockdown. The Flamesmith's going to be interesting in 7s. I think that Brawler's going to be useful sometimes. I think just the fact he's a movement 5 armor 1 billion piece is going to be quite handy. And then the Hobgoblins, I think, are underrated, especially in 7s. They're great. 40k for a movement 6 edge 3+ piece is fantastic. So actually I think the Hobgoblins are going to be good, and the fact the Flame Lords have got 1 on the bench as well, it means that even if the Yeti wakes up and decided that he's feeling dangerous, there's going to be a little bit of resilience there from Hobgoblins. It also means that Ben can put the boot in as well. So I think this is going to be a bit of a combat-y one. I don't think it's going to be particularly high scoring. That said, you've got a movement 7 dodge piece here. You've got a movement 9 piece here with the Bull Centaur. It could kick off. Right. I cannot wait to start playing some 7s. So I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much for joining me. We'll be back soon with more Blood content. Happy blocking.